What's up guys and welcome. You are watching Fazi Fitness. So let's start this video with Hunter Labrada. So I have to say Hunter doesn't get enough credit with this condition at 287 pounds, with another 2 more months to push for the offseason. That is one of the most insane condition by any IFB pro right now. Now I have to say one can only imagine the amount of food he must be intaking to maintain this type of body weight while maintaining this type of body composition. So the most impressive thing about Hunter right now is that how he is able to keep his waist in check during this whole offseason while getting bigger. I mean, just look at those hamstrings. Just one word, nasty. He even has that Christmas tree at the peak of his offseason. That is just nuts. And that just goes to show you how professional Hunter is, whether it's the offseason or the pre-contest or the post-contest. He is really regimented with his diet and with his workout protocols. His work ethic is second to none. So if we talk about his placing at the Olympia last year, he finished 6th, something that he wasn't aiming for. But here is the predicament for Hunter Labrada and his team. They are fighting guys who are genetically so superior to him. They are fighting a shape monster like Andrew Jacked, who was off at the Olympia last year and still he was able to beat Hunter. But still, Hunter and his team were extremely proud on the amount of improvements they were able to make from 2022 Olympia to 2023. Because if you guys remember, Hunter placed 4th at the Olympia 2021, took the whole year off, and then what we saw from him at the Olympia 2022, that wasn't impressive at all. Now if we compare that to 2023, when he competed 3 times, the amount of improvements were just insane. He had better conditioning, his back was so much more improved. Every single thing about his physique got better. Now, for 2024 there is a change in strategy. Hunter and his team obviously are chasing more size again, and more thickness and more density. And that, I have to say, might be a good idea, that might be a good strategy. Because this is the only way Hunter is gonna beat a guy like Rafael Brandao, who is also a shape guy, who has better shape than Hunter Labrada. And the reason I'm calling it a change in strategy is because if you guys remember, after the Olympia 2022, both Nick Fokker and Hunter had the same thing to say, that both of them are not looking to get any bigger than this. But this time for 2024, there is a change in this mindset. Because we have all seen that Brandao is now a bigger and thicker version of himself as well. So in order to beat these guys, Hunter needs to get even more bigger while keeping his waistline in check and maybe create an illusion of having a better taper. Nevertheless, his off-season progress is just phenomenal and we cannot wait for him to start his prep for the 2024 bodybuilding season. Another sneak peek of Martin-Fitzwater. Less than 5 weeks out of Detroit Pro, the first show for him in 2024. The first show for him after a gap of 1.5 years. So him and Brett Wilkin are currently training together. Both these guys have been long-time training partners. Brett Wilkin is fired up to regain all the size that he lost after he dropped out of the Olympia last year while addressing his stomach issues, and Martin is in the list of those guys who took the whole last year off in order to get bigger, to get better, so that he can be more competitive in the men's open bodybuilding. Because if you guys remember back in 2022, he wasn't just showing up to share the stage with Andrew Jacked. He actually wanted to beat him, and he actually believed that he can beat Andrew Jacked. So that is the standard that Martin has set for himself. So this is gonna be an exciting year for both Martin and Brett Wilkin. So Martin is gonna battle some very big names in Detroit Pro. And the list of Detroit Pro isn't final just yet. And there is a very high likelihood that this list is gonna grow a lot more, depending on the results of the Arnold Classic UK and also the Arnold Classic Brazil. So Martin is a short bodybuilder. He isn't a tall guy, but he was very muscular for his frame even back in 2022. So he did 2 shows in 2022, Texas Pro and the Arnold Classic UK. So it will come down to how much of a drastic difference there is in his physique then versus now. Because he isn't gonna be the biggest guy on stage. His stage presence isn't gonna be that big, especially compared to some of the other taller, wider guys. But his conditioning can go against any of the guys, even those guys who just competed at the Arnold Classic Ohio just a week ago, except for Hadi Choopan of course. So 2024 is gonna be that year, where each of these guys are gonna compete until they get their Olympia qualification, until they get their ticket to the big show. Because all this time that was taken off, like more than 1.5 years, it must look like that it was well worth it. And same is the case with Brett Wilkin as well. So Martin's comparison with John De La Rosa at Detroit Pro, that is gonna be a good one, as both these guys have a similar kind of height, and both of them can get shredded and peeled to the bone. And John just placed 4th at the Arnold Classic Ohio. So that right there is gonna be a good reference for Martin and his team to measure the amount of improvements they have been able to make. So Nick Walker's troll game on every one of Tonio Burton's posts, that I have to say is some next level shit. So him saying that the size on Tonio's back, that is the same as he had when he was amateur. That is absolute savage. And not only just that, Nick Walker had a hilarious response to Tonio's announcement that he's gonna do Arnold Classic Brazil first. So this back and forth is really entertaining for the fans. But so was the case when Blessing Avutibu and Nick Walker went back and forth trash talking each other on their road to the New York Pro back in 2021. So the outcome of that whole scenario, that wasn't what Blessing was expecting or what he wanted actually. So that just goes to show you how great of a bodybuilder Nick Walker was even back in 2021. And 2 years later, Nick Walker has been mutating constantly. And that is a new and a freaky version of Nick Walker now. I have to say he is twice the freak now compared to the time when he won his first pro show, which was the New York Pro. So all that being said, we wanna see a good fight between these two guys. Yes, Tonio Burton did beat a number of bigger guys at the Olympia last year. Guys like Hassan Mustafa, like Regan Grimes. And he definitely deserved that 8th place at the Olympia. But we all know Nick Walker is a whole different animal. Nick Walker is just on a different level. So giving Nick Walker a run for his money, that is gonna be really difficult. But then again, I have to say people must have thought the same thing about Dexter Jackson as well, when he made his Olympia debut back in 1999. That this guy is never gonna be big enough to go up against the top guys. And keep in mind the top guys of that time were Ronnie Coleman, Jay Cutler, Flex Wheeler, Kevin Levron. And Dexter Jackson just proved everyone wrong. So can Tonio Burton do the same? Do let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Lastly, we have an update from Breon Ansley going through more posing routines, more posing rounds with his trainer and his coach Chris Cormier. Now, I don't know what else these guys could do at this point for the On Classic UK. Because not only Breon was shredded to the bone at the On Classic Ohio, but that was arguably the best Breon we have ever seen in his bodybuilding career, in his classic physique career. And top to bottom, he was pretty full as well. But according to Breon himself, he can be a bit more fuller. But the question is how much of that fullness can be added on his quads. What I'm trying to say is that his upper body is still very competitive. He can go up against everyone in this lineup. But it is all gonna come down to his legs, because that was the feedback given to him by the judges. He needs bigger quads. He needs more quad sweep. So since we are talking about classic physique, what is so special about the winning Arnold Classic champion Wesley Vissers? Well, you guys can just see here when he is fully depleted, when he is flat. Even then he looks so round, so 3D and so bubbly. And that is exactly what we are looking at right now at 2 days out of the show. So Wesley has competed at the Arnold Classic UK in the past as well, but he has never won this show. So this is gonna be another test for his coach as well. Is he gonna be able to pick Wesley the same way he did for Ohio, especially at the prejudging? Can he duplicate that same look back to back? Because Wesley has done everything right on his end for these past 2 weeks. He has been able to hold on to that condition, that fullness. So if Wesley wins this one too, if he's able to beat Urs and Breon here as well, this will definitely mark the start of a new era. Because him along with Ron Mondino, they will be the main title contenders, they will be the main threats to Chris Bumstead. And that is gonna make this upcoming Mr. Olympia a lot more exciting in classic physique. So hit the thumbs up button if you liked the video, and smash the subscribe button if you wanna come back for more. Thanks for watching.